Everybody. Now it should automatically turn our mics off, which would be fantastic. But I'll ask you just in case it hasn't, keep the mic turned off. Now just say hello and welcome to our seminar. Before we kick things off, we'll go through a few things while other people join. Now this is our third seminar of the day, and so far they've gone brilliantly. I'm not in office this time, so we don't have a gymnastic background. But just say hello, everybody, and thank you for logging on. My name is Paul. It's up to you whether you want to put your cameras on, but it'd be lovely to put a face to a name. Now, one thing that I would love to see is in the bottom side of your screen, you should be able to switch your name. So in our previous seminars, you can edit your name, and I'll be editing mine now, and you'll see it will change to Paul, Baskerville's Gym, and then UK. So if you can put the gym that you're signed up from, but also the country as well. We've had people from Australia, Kenya, New Zealand, America. It's been crazy to see how far and wide people have joined us from. So as I said, while we're waiting for the others to join, do switch your names in the bottom hand corner. So we've got your first name, the club you're joining us from, and your alongside your first name. You'll be able to see the chat function in the bottom as well, and we will use that for any questions during the seminar, and I'll answer them where I can. But there will be a Q&A at the end, and from the previous two seminars, they've been fantastic. So those questions, write them down as we go, pop them in the chat as well so they're ready. Maybe your question could be the first one to be answered. And do grab a pen. I know from people I've spoke to about the previous seminars, they've taken down some notes. Hi, Megan from Fort Gymnastics. Melanie, if you want to do the same, you can change your name in the bottom corner. So it's got your first name, the club you're joining us from, and also where you're actually in from. Olivia, you can do the same. Hello to Bethany. Hi, Liv from Niall Wilson Gymnastics. I've actually sent you guys a DM, so it'd be good to try and team up, Liv. Hi, Emma from Axminster. I think I've spoken to you guys before as well. How you doing? So just like Emma has, you can turn on your cameras. Obviously, keep the mics off for now because it will keep the screen on me. But it would be lovely to put a face to a name during the seminar. And as I said, do pop the club that you're joining us from and also the country as well alongside your first name. Just get more people signed in. Amazing. Hey, Megan, how you doing? As I said, no pressure to put those cameras on, but if you would like to, it's amazing to see your faces. So we will kick off with today's seminar. I said there is a Q&A section at the end, which as I said has gone down really well. But we'll go straight into the seminar and go from there. Hi, Olivia from Sky Gymnastics. So this is a seminar at managing your team and educating junior coaches in your gymnastics club. Really, we're talking about coaches aged 10 to 16, maybe 18 years old, but there's no reason why the information we'll talk about today you could apply to the rest of your coaching team. This seminar is aimed at gymnastics club owners, managers, and coaches who feel they would like to learn more about developing and growing a junior coaching team. There's a couple of scenarios I want to imagine here, and I think it's really nice. These might be our takeaways, but imagine you had more lead coaches than you had classes to lead. You didn't need to recruit outside of your own gym. In this seminar, you will learn about the best ways to train your team as well as create, communicate, and educate them as well. Before we go on, a tiny little bit about me. So my name is Paul Baskerville, and I was born into a gymnastics family. My mum and dad were both school teachers, and whilst teaching, they created a gymnastics club in the school. And whilst teaching, they got boys to a world championship level. They then stepped away from teaching and followed their passion of gymnastics coaching. And for the last 40 years, Baskerville's gym has been running with 30 of those years outside in a custom built facility. At Baskerville's, we have over 160 coaches. Some of them have been coaching with us since the age of 10 years old and are now 30 plus. And running the coach education program is what I've been doing at Baskerville's for the last 12 years. And it's definitely built on fun, but also a high quality service and it's professional. And I think more than ever, that is what our grown-ups, our parents are looking for their children. And there'll be so many key takeaways on today's seminar, but that could definitely be one. And all of our coaches, and this came up as a question at the end of our previous seminar, all of our coaches start for our recreational training program, and then they tend to divert off into the squad pathway in terms of coaching from there. Why am I putting on this seminar? Well, firstly, I hope you can see the passion that I have for coach education and growing a junior coaching team. I find it so rewarding. It's probably the most rewarding part of my role as managing director at Baskerville's Gym. And I know and I feel it would be wonderful for more clubs to have the opportunity to build their team from recruiting within. It's not something I set out to do 12 years ago to build this junior coach education program. It happened organically, but wow, it's grown and I love it. And I just want to share some of that knowledge with you. Within Baskervilles, on our 160 coaches, 80 of them are under the age of 16. And we'll talk about investing in the future later on. But wow, this is us investing for the future. And I'm sure you can do the same. But how have we created a program this big with this many coaches? Well, the information given in this seminar should help to answer those questions. The first thing is staff and team management techniques. As I said, many clubs have the same problem of not enough gymnastics coaches. It's up to us to choose them, to grow their knowledge and build your team. Sadly, and I think we've all done this, but we cannot just expect gymnastics coaches to just walk through the door. In terms of building a junior coach education program, where do these coaches come from? You already have these coaches. They are the gymnasts at your club. But how do we turn them into coaches? And why do they make good coaches? First of all, they're your gymnasts. So they know your coaching styles and the way that you deliver a session. They'll be taking this information in every single session. They know your expectations in terms of when you deliver, and they know the names of the skills, and they also know how the preps are set up. They probably know your club better than anybody else. Now, I understand these 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds cannot just walk in the door and start leading a session. Well, I don't think the grown-ups and parents would be happy, neither would our governing bodies either. But we wouldn't do that also. But it's our job to invest in your team. They are the future team members, and they are the next generation of coaches within your club. And the more knowledge we can provide to them, the more they will enjoy their coaching. We'll definitely touch on that later on, but I think to go back over that, it's our job to give them the knowledge. We cannot expect them to know how to coach, but we'll jump back into that in a minute. Who do we choose to join our coach education program? I'm smiling because I love it. It's our smiley coaches. It's our smiley gymnasts that we want to turn into coaches. It's the enthusiastic gymnasts, and but even the talkative ones. And I bet you now you can name two, three, or four at least gymnasts in your classes that maybe talk too much at times, but they could be the perfect gymnasts to be coaches in your team. They've already got that attribute, that skill of being talkative and to be able to talk in front of others, their group of friends and their peers. We can channel that superpower that they have and turn them into coaches. But who chooses them? Well, it's got to be you to start. We could approach it and say, Melanie, would you like to come and join our coaching? Or Angela, or Liv. I love the way your energy is in the session. You're always so focused. And would you like to come and join our junior coach education program? Imagine that as your daughter or son. If they were approached to join the coaching team, what a special day that would be. And once they step into that role, well, how do they get on? Do they show commitment to their role? Do they turn up every week? And are they on time? And do they have good communication? And the final thing that we touch back on later on is, do they show positive body language? And again, it's our job to tell them what that positive body language is and tell them how. We want them to stand up. Do we want them to lean or sit? Or should they be standing and present and open with their body language? If we're like this, we're going to scare them away. But they won't know these skills until you tell them. So that on that path is, how do they know what to do? Well, we need to let them know our expectations. We want our coaches to be smiley, eye contact, engaging. And these junior coaches, these 10 to 13-year-olds, well, at Baskervilles, they don't do any supporting. All of their coaching is verbal. But if they're given a coaching point and they don't know the gymnast names, how are they going to talk to them? So if they're trying to give a coaching point to Megan and she just walks away, and I might say, Megan, come back over here. When you do your forward roll, can we stand up without using our hands? But again, it's our job to let these junior staff know what our expectations are. And a little bit on supporting, I think it's definitely for you as a club to decide and to speak with your insurance providers and your governing bodies. But for us here at Baskervilles, our 10 to 13-year-olds, our most junior part of our team, they do not support. All of their coaching is done shadow, side by side with myself or one of the other lead coaches, but they don't support. In the UK, once they're 13 years old, we can apply for a work permit so that they can legally get paid. And that is when they would start getting paid as well. And in that, they can then start to support. And it might be just lifting their hands up when they finish a forward roll, or supporting when they're doing a backward roll so they can land on their feet. Really simple and safe bits of supporting. But wow, the step when they turn from, for us, a demonstrator, almost junior coaches, into the next level up, they're so proud. But ages, levels, but also coaching kit. It's going to be different for every club. And there's some of the takeaways you'll have from today is thinking about what works for me. But us here at Baskervilles, our ages, our demonstrators, our junior coaches, they're aged 10 to 13 years old. The next level up, and they have to get promoted, they're 13 to 14. They're our junior staff, our junior assistants, and they can then support. They're still in black coaching kit, which is just our logo on the front with demonstrator, junior assistant on the back. Once they turn 14 and they can get promoted up again, their t-shirt turns blue like the rest of our senior team, and they become an assistant coach. Promotions is one you're doing time, but for us at Baskervilles, it happens during our training days. And we'll talk about when these training days happen in a minute. What to do in these training sessions? Well, first of all, is have a syllabus to follow, but do not overcomplicate it. And I'm going to use the word do not overcomplicate it a lot. We want to make sure it matches your program, your lesson plans, and the pathways that you have. Skills, we do more than just teach. Although we do teach them all the basic prep skills with forward rolls, tuck sit, rock and roll to stand, bunny hops, and forward rolls. We also teach them life skills that are so transferable outside of the gym and will just help shape their future. And it's another reason why so many of the parents and grown-ups at our gym want our gymnasts to join our coaching program. But what to do in these sessions? Well, we keep it simple. All of our junior coaches start in our recreational pathway. So they work on backward rolls, handstands, cartwheels, and they build up through the preps until they know them inside out. They then will divert off, and some of them join our men's team or women's team or some of our intermediate squad pathways. Lots of them stay in recreational because we make it fun, but also challenging, and that's what our coaches need. Who should lead these training days? Either it could be one person who is really enthusiastic about training younger or less experienced members of your team, or a group of people who would enjoy that shared leadership. To start with, it was just me and my fantastic sister Vicky. We used to lead the coach education training days, and we did that just one of us by ourselves. And the whole team came in, the 10-year-olds, all the way through up to the 18-year-olds, and they came to a training day together. We did this for a couple of months, maybe even a year, and I led this session. As time's gone on, I've started to share that leadership. But to start with, we do not want to overcomplicate it. We just maybe it be you to lead the coach education sessions until it's ready, until it's right for someone else to come in and join you. But wow, I never could have predicted how much our senior team love coach educating and coming in on those training days and sharing their knowledge. There's so many reasons behind it. A, you remember why you do preps. It reminds you of different preps you used to do, and relearning that knowledge and passing it on to someone else. Not only does it make me a better coach, the feeling I get when our junior coaches are confident to support something or to provide the right coaching point back to a gymnast and they coach the way that we want them to, it's fantastic. However, this might seem really far away, but small, little, and again, we don't need to overcomplicate it. But when and how often should these coach education sessions run? Originally, we started with just one training day, as I said, where all of our staff, I think there was about 13 or 14 of them, they came into one training day. And it was great. It worked. We did our forward rolls, we did our backward rolls, we did some basic beam work on benches where we did line work style skills. As time's gone on, it's grown a little bit bigger. But to start with, keep it simple. It could be your, but now we have at Baskervilles, we run 6 different training days every single holiday break. So that takes us on to when could your training days occur? For us, as I said, it's the holiday breaks, half terms, Easter, Christmas. We found that to be the best times. But I know there's other clubs I've worked with where it could be the quieter squad sessions or even weekends, as I know sometimes, not too many gyms, but we can have some weekends where it can work perfectly. But why do we love the holiday clubs for training days? Well, first of all, we're already tying it in with a session that's running, so it's no extra cost to our club. Our senior coaches are normally in running those holiday courses. So we've got gymnasts on site that we can use for the skills. The junior coaches can come in and either watch us lead a circuit, they can start to join us in leading the circuit, and we can do lots of guided questioning and talk through the preps and how it builds up. I think, again, I'm going to say it, but the fact that it's no extra cost to your club by doing it during a holiday club is why it's such a winner. And it means the gymnasts that are coming to this holiday camp get more attention. They get loads of coaching points and feedback, and they really get built up. We like it during holiday time. And how long should these sessions be? The first one was 45 minutes long, and it was perfect. In fact, I felt I ran out. I ran out of time. I overran. I had to apologize to the grown-ups and parents for overrunning. But 45 minutes was the perfect amount of time for us. But things have evolved. Our training day sessions for our junior staff, those 10 to 13-year-olds, those demonstrators with the name on the back, they're now 3-hour sessions. And it runs for us from 8:30 in the morning until 11:30. So for the first half of the holiday camp, they come in and they work up through those basic preps. And we run a training day every single holiday break. And the program is slightly different each time they come in. So it feels varied, not only for them, but also for us as the coach educators. If it's not fun for us, it's probably not fun for them. And if it's not fun for them, it's probably not fun for your gymnast either. So I always feel like if I'm having fun, it will always work downwards as well. But yeah, keep it simple on those training days. 45 minutes up to 3 hours, whatever feels right. But you want to feel as if you're fitting in the time and you're looking at your watch thinking, I've only got 20 minutes left and I haven't got enough time to cover it all. That's such a nice feeling to think I already can't wait for the next training day because I didn't get to cover everything I wanted. What you don't want to feel like is we've got half an hour left and I don't really know what to do. Always keep it shorter and then you can make it longer when it feels right. And if gymnasts are there, use them. Active communication with your team. How to organize and talk with your coaches. Again, I know every club is different, so there'll be tiny takeaways from today that might work for your club or give you some ideas where you might be able to do things slightly differently. But for us, our most junior, our younger coaches, it's emails to their parents. We like that because we can send out an email. Hey, I'm putting on a training day in February half term. It's on Monday, the 22nd, and it's from 8:30 to 11:30. Can you attend? In the subject at the top, we'll always put response required. It doesn't mean we get a response though. But if I had 20 coaches, we actually have 60 in that most junior age category, our demonstrators, those 10 to 13. And when I send out the email and BCC everybody in, I might get maybe 20 or 22 replies, but I would love all 60 to attend. So that might mean a reminder email, even a third or fourth reminder email. Or when I see Olivia at her gym, I might say, Olivia, has your mum signed up to the training day yet for you? And she might say, oh, I didn't know there was a training day. She might go home in half an hour, I've got an email reply. But it's remembering that people forget. We have all missed an email in our time. I'm sure you've done the same. I still do it now from time to time. And the second email comes through, have you had a chance to have a look at this? I don't know how I missed that. I must have been reading the email and had a chat from a grown up or another team member, and I got pulled away. People forget and appreciate a second message. It might be the most important thing on our list for the training day coming up, but it might not be the most important thing on theirs. So do those second and third reminders. People have a lot going on. But that's how we would communicate with our most junior team. The slightly older members of staff, we use group chats on our preferred messaging app. It might be iMessage. We like WhatsApp. We put on a poll. Can you attend either 1, 2, or 3 training days that run on these days? A simple click, and I know who's attending when. And the thing I like most about the polls is every time someone fills in the poll, it puts a notification on the group so that 8 or 10 or 12 who haven't replied yet, it's a constant reminder, which we like. What you want, if you're planning this training day and you know it's going to be great and it's going to make the longevity of your club even better, but we want our gymnasts, our gymnasts we're turning into coaches to attend. So if you're putting on a training day and only 2 out of the 10 turn up, it will be a great training day. But imagine if you had 6, 8, or even all 10 come to that training day. And then the next time they're in for their regular weekly coaching and that knowledge they've picked up, well, then they can start to deliver that in their sessions. Our next section. What can I offer you next? And as I said, in a minute, we'll finish with a Q&A section. And these have been some of the best parts of the seminar today. And this is our third and final one. But what can I offer you next? Some of you have larger teams and lots of time or resources. But there's lots of clubs out there I've heard from and worked with who have asked for my help. And I understand starting a program, this may sound daunting. However, if you feel you need some extra support, this is something I can offer. We have schemes of work at Baskervilles, those training days that run throughout the year. You could adapt and I can make bespoke to your club. I can also help deliver these sessions or even help coach educate your future coach educators. Or I could come in and deliver a coach education session. We've now got a bit of time for some Q&A. You can see the Q&A section or the question section at the bottom of your page. Please pop any questions on there. I can go back over anything I've said already or in more detail about something you would like to know more about or might find quite interesting. following our seminar, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I hope there has been at least one key takeaway from everything we've discussed today. So if you do want to pop any questions in that chat, I'll start to pull it up now. I've also got some of the questions from our previous seminars we can pop in. So from Olivia from Eastern Gym, what do your junior coach what do you do for junior coaches who do not commit to training days regularly? Will they just not get promoted if they're not engaging in this? That's a great one. We have a coach of ours who's